19 reasons why I run, truly from the heart, nothing sugarcoated. Number one, because I feel downright loco otherwise. I don't know about you, but I run because it calms my brain down. I think that's probably why I do it most. In fact, I talked to Nick Bear, and this was really funny. He said, if you had to choose one for the rest of your life, would you resistance train or would you run? And his response was exactly what mine would have been. Well, for the body, probably resistance training, but for the mind, without a doubt, running. The number two reason why I run, because it's a lot cheaper than therapy, and it's a lot healthier than drugs. Now, if you know my story, you know that running has been a coping mechanism for me for a long time, for decades. And I'm open about that, and I understand it, and I relate to it, but I also understand the more people that I meet that run, they do it for very similar reasons. Now, we have 17 more to go. It's not the only ones, but still, they're important. Number three is more physical, right? And that's the fact that I can vary my zone training on a whim. So I can go run and stay in zone 2, or I can sprint and be in zone 5. I can vary my zone training, my heart rate training, my respiratory rate on the fly with zero programming changing whatsoever. Like, it's that simple. And although that doesn't sound that important, it's hugely important. Being able to understand the different zones, your heart rate zones, that is tremendously powerful for building a proper base and for understanding your peak performance. Number four, because moving your body through space is always the best solution. Now, what I mean by that is, as far as a workout is concerned, moving your body through a plane of motion seems to be the most natural and one of the most effective. So a bike is great. You get a huge workout with a bike. I love bicycling, but it's not real body through space. You are physically moving your body through space, but you're using a vehicle, right? A push-up is moving your body through space. A squat is moving your body through space. A lunge is moving your body through space. Running is moving your body through space for a long period of time. Do your own research. Body through space is a very powerful tool for building a well-balanced and functional physique. Number five, it's passive. You don't have to think about it. Anytime that you can find a way to work out without having to think about working out, you're getting yourself a win. You can go for a run with a friend, you can go for a run by yourself, you can go for a run in a pretty environment, and 30 minutes goes by with what feels like was, I don't know, 10 minutes on a treadmill, right? It's like, it feels like so fast, whereas if you go on a treadmill, that's gonna feel like 4 hours. Now this next one, number 6, is kind of funny, and maybe it's just me, but I've always joked that I have a little bit of ADD, and that's just kind of who I am, right? I call myself someone with a squirrel brain, and if I'm walking, I get this tendency to be like, oh my gosh, I'm not like covering enough ground fast enough, like the scenery's not changing. If I run, I feel like it satisfies my little squirrel brain. Like, I get to see things fast, I'm moving fast, the scenery's changing fast, everything just happens a little bit quicker, and it's great for my brain because I get exhausted moving slow. I love to walk, but I'm like, I gotta get there faster, and this just, it scratches that itch for me so that later on in the day, I don't feel the need to try to scratch it. Number 6, I like to eat. I like to eat a lot, and running is a great way to A, burn a bunch of calories, but B, get that sort of high that allows you to almost feel food as a little bit of a reward. And as much as you might not agree with treating food as a reward, I think it's very fundamental and biological for us to see food as somewhat of a reward if we really did work hard. And now I don't mean I go for a run and say I'm gonna surprise myself with a milkshake, but I mean I'm gonna eat some good food and I'm gonna feel good about it. And allows you, as long as you culture it properly, to develop a healthy relationship with food where you see it as nourishing. And one of the things you should know is that when you are running, you're breaking down muscle tissue. Just like if you're resistance training, you need to eat that protein. You need to eat. What do a lot of runners do? Unfortunately, they load up on goo packs, they load up on Skittles and sugar because it tastes good and they're riding the high. I changed the paradigm with that, and I lean into meat. I lean into protein shakes, I lean into cottage cheese. I get the quality protein that I need to recover so that I can keep doing it. I eat a lot of grass-fed, grass-finished beef. I eat a lot of chicken. I eat a lot of scallops. I eat a lot of good quality meat. I also put a link down below if you want to check out the meat that I use. I use ButcherBox for my grass-fed, grass-finished beef. Not exclusively, obviously, I'm not that crazy. I get it from all different kinds of stores, but the best quality ones, the cuts that I use that I really want to enjoy, I get from ButcherBox. So I put a link down below as well if you want to try them out. If you're a runner, if you're a lifter, if you're both, some good quality grass-fed and grass-finished beef is gonna feel really darn good to the soul, and of course to the muscles as well. So that link down below gets you free ground beef for a year with your membership. So that's a special promo that they're running right now, which gets you free ground beef with all of your orders for a year. So super, super cool. That link is down below, top line of the description, underneath this video. It gets delivered to your doorstep. You get to choose all your cuts. You can choose the cuts that I use, yada, yada, it goes on. So that link is down below. The next one, I don't need equipment. There's never an excuse to do it. I don't need a bunch of stuff. I don't need to bring a bike with me. I can run with basic shoes. I can run barefoot on the turf or on the grass if I need to. I just don't need anything. The next one, I feel like it's a powerful survival tool, which is wild, right? Like if I train myself to only be conditioned on a bike, like I just don't know if I'll be that good of a runner. And you gotta remember that we are fight or flight creatures. We can do one or the other. And although there are plenty of situations where I would stand up and fight, there are also plenty of situations where I would just try to outrun something because I have the endurance and I have some decent speed. And it just makes sense that it's a survival tool to be able to run. And I just feel good knowing that I'm training something that is also applicable to my survival. Next, it builds a base for everything. Obviously, I like to lift. I lift a lot. I lift probably just as much as I run, maybe even a little bit more. But you know what's cool? In between my sets, I recover like that, which means I can get more volume done in my weight training because I'm recovered and I'm not waiting for my heart rate to come down because it's down fast. It builds a base when I want to go out and play ball. It builds a base if I want to go hiking, if I want to go climbing. I have that base and it's built in a strong fashion. Plus, almost any sport that I could think of, I could jump in and at least cover the basic fitness component of it by being able to run. Next, it helps build muscle. This sounds so crazy, but as long as your protein needs are met and there is adequate stimulus, you can build muscle even when running a lot. Running actually increases angiogenesis. It increases the formation of new blood vessels, which allows more oxygenation and allows more nutrients and allows for more muscle to be built. There's also a relatively new study that I talked about in another video not long ago that demonstrates that cardiovascular exercise like running actually stimulates a different kind of protein synthesis. It alters our protein synthesis and decreases our muscle protein breakdown. The repetitive contraction of running actually conditions the body to be better at protein synthesis. This is pretty wicked cool stuff. Next, it boosts my endogenous antioxidant production. I feel so good because I have my own sort of vitamin C being produced in my body, for lack of a better term. My body produces antioxidants because running is a stressor for an extended period of time that trains my body to be stronger at producing antioxidants, unless, of course, I push it overboard. It helps me sleep. Yes, I create more sleep pressure. If I resistance train myself into the ground, I am stimulating my central nervous system so much that training harder in the gym does not equate to me sleeping better. It simply doesn't. Generally, the harder I push my nervous system in the gym, the worse I sleep. So I have to find a balance with resistance training. With running, unless I'm going into zone 4, zone 5, the more I run, the better impact it has on my sleep. If I go out for a 2-hour run in zone 3, I'm gonna sleep good because I created a gentle pressure, a gentle sleep debt in sort of fashion to allow me to sleep. If I train for 3 hours in the gym, I'll probably just be sore and I'll beat myself up and I probably won't sleep as well. So it's that balance. Next one's kind of fun. It's an excuse to travel. You can go places and run races. You can go places and run and explore, and it's cheap. If I wanna, say, go to Washington and run through the Olympic range, I can. If I wanna go in my backyard and go run in the trails here, if I wanna go to Hawaii and run a half marathon with one of my employees, and we can have fun, right? The other thing is, it gives you a goal for your travel, where you're not just aiming to go travel just to go, drink booze and like veg out and do something that's unhealthy. You can actually have a healthy goal with your travel. Next one is you get sunlight. If we've learned anything from Andrew Huberman, it's that getting sunlight, particularly in the morning, is important. So go for a run, get that sunlight. It's a quick way to do it. The next one is it's a way to meet like-minded people that have the right head on their shoulders. A lot of times when you meet other runners, you meet other people that are kind of after the same thing, you're surrounding yourself with good people. And it's all about that. Your life is molded by the 5 people that you spend the most time around. And if you meet 2 good friends running that become close buddies, that's gonna change a huge delta of your life. So definitely aim to meet people when you do it. Even if you're someone that is a lone wolf runner that just likes to get peace and tranquility that way, finding someone that shares the common interests can only motivate you more, even if you're not doing it together. Next up, it burns a crap ton of calories. It does. I love walking. Okay, don't get me wrong. Like, walking is my base. I walk a ton. Walking burns more fat as a percentage of fuel, but it does not burn an absolute more amount of calories. Whereas running is a calorie monster. It really is. I can go for a 6-mile run and torch 1,000 calories. And honestly, I just don't know where else I get that quick of a calorie burn to put myself in a deficit. Just remember to replenish that protein afterwards. It's very critical. The next one is, it's good for my brain from an actual scientific perspective. Endurance training increases the production of brain-derived neurotrophic factor, BDNF. This has been demonstrated across multiple models, ranging from rodents to humans, to support brain plasticity. You want to change how you look at things? Well, running doesn't just give you a runner's high so that you temporarily change your brain. It can potentially change your brain to be more plastic so that the changes you implement in your life become plastic. They become changed for good. And the last reason that I run, and probably the most important reason, and this is a very David Goggins thing to say, because it's hard. Because doing hard things are supposed to be hard. And it's supposed to be brutal. And it does build character, and it does set the pace for the day. So when you roll out of bed and it's cold, or you roll out of bed and it's just wet out and you don't want to do it, or it's the end of the day and it's 110 degrees and you really just would rather sit on the couch and eat ice cream, choose the hard option. Today, I chose something hard on my body. See you tomorrow.